One afternoon, that's all it takes to automate a full week of videos for your YouTube channel, start to finish. Not a week of grinding at the keyboard, an afternoon. The trick isn't working faster. It's wiring your AI tools into one little assembly line so the boring parts run themselves while you go do something else. But there's one job inside that assembly line you must never hand to the machine. And handing it over anyway is the exact mistake that got 16 channels wiped off YouTube in a single week earlier this year. So hold that thought, because the whole episode is really about which jobs the robot does and the one it never touches.
Kay here, and I want to set the trap in plain sight first, before anyone gets excited. There's a version of this where you point a bot at the internet, have it scrape a topic, dump it through a robot voice, and auto-publish 50 times a day. That version is the templated slop YouTube is actively deleting. Same tools, opposite outcome.
Hey, this is Michael, and the tool at the center of all this is called n8n. Think of it as a visual pegboard for your apps, no code. You drag boxes onto a canvas, connect them with a line, and each box does one job. You can run the whole thing on your own computer for free.
I'm Liam, and here's the shape of the pipeline we're going to build. A Google Sheet of your ideas feeds a scriptwriter. The script becomes a voice. The voice gets assembled into a video. And the last box publishes it to YouTube on its own. 5 boxes. And your afternoon just got a lot shorter.
Right, and here's the honest division of labor. The robot does the copying, the voice, the assembly, the upload, the grunt work. You keep the idea, your angle, and the final yes. Get that split right, and this is leverage, not a shortcut.
Which is exactly the question everyone types under these automation videos, so let me just say it out loud. If a robot can post the video for me, why can't it just make the whole thing for me too? That's the real question. And the answer is the difference between a channel that earns for years and one that gets switched off overnight. So we're building the whole thing live. Wait until you see how little code it actually takes, just 4 lines to hand your channel's keys to a robot, and the one catch YouTube quietly bakes in to stop the slop. Everything we build also lives at grow.professorerica.com with a free workflow guide. Let's wire it up. Five nodes, that's the entire pipeline, and once you see it as 5 boxes on a board, the mystery falls out of it completely. Michael, put the machine up and walk them through it, one box at a time.
Gladly. Box 1 is where your ideas live, a plain Google Sheet. 1 row per video with a column for the title and a column for a short brief you wrote in your own words. n8n watches that sheet, and when a new row appears, the line starts moving. Your ideas are the fuel. Box 2 hands that brief to an AI model, ChatGPT or a rival, and asks it to draft a script. And notice the wording. It drafts from your brief. It's filling in your outline, not inventing the whole thing from a scrape. The angle came from you, up in box 1.
Box 3 is the voice, and this is where a lot of people reach for ElevenLabs, around $22 a month, because a directed read carries watch time. The node takes the finished script and hands back a clean audio file. No microphone, no recording booth, just the words turned into a voice.
Box 4 is the assembly. It grabs stock clips or images, drops the voice on top, burns in captions, adds a music bed, and renders a finished video file. It's the part that used to eat your whole evening in an editor, and now it's one box quietly doing its thing.
And box 5 is the one people find almost hard to believe. It publishes the finished video straight to your channel, no browser, no dragging a file into an upload page. It talks directly to YouTube through code. Michael, is n8n itself really free, or is that the catch?
No catch on the tool itself. This is the actual n8n site, and the platform is used by teams at Microsoft and NVIDIA, so it's not some fly-by-night script. You can run the free version on your own machine forever. You only pay for the AI calls inside the boxes, and those are pennies per video.
And the whole thing is drag and drop, which still surprises people. You are wiring boxes together, not writing a program from scratch.
So that's the map: 5 boxes, ideas in one end and a published video out the other. But box 5 is the one that raises eyebrows, and honestly it should. Because letting a script push public videos to your channel is exactly where this gets powerful, and exactly where it gets dangerous. Let's open it up, one thing before the next part, and then we move right on. If any of this is clicking, tap that like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell for the next one. It takes a second, it costs nothing, and it helps more than you would think.
Let me pull back the curtain on what those boxes actually do underneath, because it's less magic than it looks. 2 short pieces of code carry this whole pipeline, and once you see them, the fear goes away. Michael, show them the first one.
So the writing box is really just a phone call to an AI model. This is what it sends. A request to the model, carrying your brief from the sheet, and it gets a draft back. That double brace token is n8n grabbing your idea out of the spreadsheet and dropping it into the request. That's the whole trick. And here's the famous one, the publish box. This is the call that pushes the finished file to your channel. YouTube gives you an official doorway called the Data API, and the exact command is named videos.insert, 4 lines. It hands over your video and your title, and YouTube posts it.
Wait, YouTube just lets a script log in and upload whatever it wants?
It's a fair worry, and YouTube thought of it. You sign in once securely to give your own workflow permission, and you can pull that permission at any time. And this is the real page, the official reference for that insert call, so you can read the fine print yourself instead of trusting a course. 2 guardrails on that page matter. First, on the default free quota, a project gets about 100 uploads a day, so the door isn't infinite. And second, the important one. If your AI project isn't verified yet, every video it uploads lands as private. It will not go public until you pass YouTube's compliance review.
Which is YouTube quietly forcing a human checkpoint right into the plumbing. The robot can upload all day, but a person still has to stand behind that project and vouch for it. Even the code assumes you're there.
So the scary part turns out to be the safe part. The machine can publish, but only on a leash you hold. Which brings us to the real lesson of this whole episode. The pipeline has 5 boxes, but not all of them are yours to walk away from. Some of them have your name on them permanently. Here's the beating heart of the whole thing, and it's the part no automation video wants to slow down for. The machine can touch every box, but 4 jobs stay yours, permanently, and skipping them is precisely what turns a smart pipeline into slop. Michael, lay the 4 out.
Job 1, you pick the idea. Not the bot scraping whatever's trending, you choosing a topic with real demand and a reason it's worth a video. This is the single decision the whole pipeline hangs on, and it takes about 2 minutes of video. Job 2, you edit the script, because your angle is the thing that makes it original. And that second one is the load-bearing wall. The AI hands you a competent generic draft. You cut the boring open, drop in the one story or opinion only you would say, and fix what's wrong. That edit is the human creativity YouTube's policy is actually looking for.
But couldn't a good enough model just write the angle too?
It can write an angle, Kai. It can't write yours. It's an average of everyone, so it lands on the safe middle-of-the-road take, the same one it hands the 10,000 other people using the same prompt. Your specific opinion is the one thing it structurally cannot copy, and that's the whole moat.
Okay, but let me ask the thing people are really wondering. What actually happens if you skip these and just let the pipeline publish with no human check at all?
Then you've rebuilt the exact machine that got 16 channels erased. Every video looks the same, sounds the same, says nothing a person chose to say, and you're uploading them faster than any human could. That's the textbook inauthentic content pattern, and this is a real n8n build guide, so it's not hidden, it's just work people skip.
Jobs 3 and 4 are the last two gates. You watch the finished cut and ask one blunt question: would I actually watch this to the end? If no, it doesn't ship. Then you choose the thumbnail and the title, the click, because that's a judgment call about a human feeling, and give the final yes.
So look at the split honestly. The machine did the typing, the exporting, the uploading, hours of it in the background. You spent maybe 15 minutes per video on the 4 things only you can do. That's the deal. Automate the labor, keep the authorship. Now let's argue about whether people can actually resist pushing that automation too far. So let's have the fight worth having. Everything we built has a throttle on it, and the temptation is to push that throttle all the way down. Kai thinks smart operators should automate as much as they possibly can. Liam thinks that's the road straight back to the terminated list. I'll call the fouls. Kai, make the case for going further.
My case is simple. Every minute you spend on a task a machine could do is a minute stolen from the 4 that matter. So automate everything that isn't judgment ruthlessly. If the model can draft, let it draft. If a node can cut the trailer, let it. The creators who win are the ones who shrink the busy work closest to zero and pour that time back into ideas.
And that's exactly the mindset that ends in a wipe, because the busy work line keeps sliding. First it's the export, fine. Then it's the script edit. Well, the draft was pretty good. Then it's the thumbnail. The model picked one. Each step feels reasonable. And one morning you've automated the judgment out too, and you're publishing slop you never actually read.
Before you go on, Kai, answer that directly. If shrinking busy work is the goal, what stops it from quietly eating the judgment one reasonable step at a time?
Discipline and a hard line you draw once. The 4 human jobs are not on the table ever, no matter how good the tool gets. Automate up to that wall and slam into it every time. The tool being capable of writing my angle doesn't mean I let it. That's a rule I keep, not a limit the software enforces.
But the software won't stop you crossing it.
No, it won't, and that's the honest weak point in my position. Nothing technical stops you. It's only your own standard. So I'll concede this. The more you automate, the more discipline it costs to stay on the right side, and most people underestimate the tax badly.
That's the concession I wanted. I'm not against automation, Kai. I run half of this myself. I just think the honest advice is to automate the labor and deliberately leave friction on the judgment so a human has to physically stop and approve before anything goes public. Make it a little annoying on purpose.
So the verdict I'd defend, and YouTube's own policy settles it rather than us. The inauthentic content rule doesn't punish the automation, it punishes the absence of a human. So automate aggressively, exactly as Kai says, but keep a hard manual gate before publish, exactly as Liam says. Build the whole assembly line, then stand at the end of it and give every video a real human yes.
I can live with that. Automate to the wall, never through it.
The one idea to carry out of here is this. The robot builds the video. You decide whether it deserves your name. Keep that gate, and this whole machine works for you instead of getting you wiped. Quick recap. You can automate almost your whole channel with n8n and AI, a sheet feeding a script, a voice, an assembly, and a publish call straight to YouTube. A week of videos batched in an afternoon, free to run yourself.
The one line to keep is the split. Automate the labor, never the authorship. The idea, the script edit, and the final yes stay human because that's what keeps a channel eligible to earn. Send this to anyone about to let a bot run their whole channel.
The 5-minute move tonight. Open a Google Sheet and write one real video idea in your own words. Do that, and future you sits down to a machine already doing the heavy lifting.
The part nobody advertises. Automation multiplies whatever you feed it. Feed it a real idea with your angle, it multiplies quality. Feed it a scrape and walk away, it multiplies the pattern that gets channels wiped just faster.
Next up, we price the whole stack. Every AI tool for a faceless channel for about the cost of one dinner a month, plus the one tool almost everyone overpays for.
If this gave you the honest build instead of the hype, hit like and subscribe. We're wiring this whole system up one video at a time, and the free workflow guide is at grow.professorerica.com.
Here's the one we couldn't settle, so tell us in the comments, what's your line? How much of your channel would you let a robot run before it stops feeling like yours?
Keep these notes close and put them to work this week. Thanks for watching. This is Professor Erica.